it's like an episode of Friends here. We're like, hey, Joey's here. Hey, so our guest is Brian Goodell. Yay, we did that. So Brian, you have developed, you kind of pivoted during this whole coronavirus thing to you've always made bibs. I went on your website, was amazed at all the amazing things you're doing. But tell us a little bit how you made this pivot in your business to help. You're helping with the N95 mask, and we've all heard that we don't have enough of the mask. But apparently, there's another issue with the mask that the first responders and everybody who have to live in these masks are suffering from, and that's where you come in. So you found a solution to the pain of these guys wearing these things 12 to 18 hours a day.
Yeah, BibBoards is an event bib fastener. It secures your bib to your shirt when you're doing a run. So picture if you're doing a rock and roll marathon or a Run Disney race, you actually get safety pins, but BibBoards is a recyclable, reusable, brandable nylon plastic. And we were supplying thousands of races and events. And right when COVID hit, we basically lost everything. And I had to let our employees go. And interestingly enough, right around April 8th, so let's roughly 34 days ago, we started getting inquiries and from some of our BibBoards fans saying, hey, we're using your product for ears as a mask snap and hook. And so I went online, social media, and I started looking up the hashtags at sore ears. And it was not just a few people that were suffering from this on the front line. This was something that was serious. People were actually getting raw ears from wearing masks all day long during COVID. And from the New York Nurses Association to elderly care facilities started reaching out to us. So yeah, on April 8th, we made a pivot because of the need.
Interesting. It's amazing that you've been able to do that. I mean, and I've seen, so your people sent over something. So Chris, if you could bring up a couple of the awesome images so folks can kind of see what these look like. The cool little images. There we go. See, this is kind of what they look like. And oh, look, they're branded. Look at this. To the point. If I was a doctor, which you would never want me wearing a mask and being your physician. If I walk in the room and I'm your physician, you're done. So just be done. I faint when I see blood. Okay, I'm not your guy. Even when one of my children gets sick, I leave the room. Okay, so aren't these pretty? I mean, if you're a doctor and you want these, nurse, anybody I know, first responders, I say we order a couple of these and put them on. John, my buddy over at Laughter Saves Lives, will have to get them to. We'll order some of these and throw those on there. We'll take pictures with these. We'll get some of our cops and fire department. Oh, there we go. We'll do that, and we'll have first responders wear them. Laughter saves lives, so we'll take care of you there. But so let's jump into this. I mean, you're an amazing entrepreneur, but one of the things we've been talking to a lot of people about is how, as small business owners, right? We hear so much with the small business loans that have gone out, and of course the big guys are jumping in line, and a lot of small business owners aren't doing it, but what would you say the advice or how small business owners can weather the storm during the pandemic like this? Obviously, you made a pivot, but what advice are you giving to small business owners so they can lead the way? Some of them are finally kind of getting their kickstart. Some of them did get the loan, so they're able to really start business up again and not be in this shelter-in-place kind of state. So what's your advice?
What we did immediately was we filled out all the information we could immediately, right from day one. My business partner and co-inventor of BibBoards is Rob Greenspoon. So Rob was literally standing in virtual line applying for all these loans and grants and the PPP that Trump spoke about. And we were one of the first to get it, fortunately. And I would say, advice, think about, get in there. There's so many tools that you can go online and videos that people are sharing how to do it, and just do that first. And then secondly, just think of as an inventor, I'm always thinking outside the box. What can I do to pivot? As much as I'd like to take credit for the pivot of 4 years, it was an online doctor who was using it already, but immediately I looked into it further to see if this is a real need. And I would say think outside the box, take your application, what it is, and address it to immediate need that people want. And with the tools on social, like hashtags, you can actually see, are people talking about this? And just do a little research, because the pivot has been amazing. We had to hire everybody back from Amazon. So out there right now, they're printing orders for, so many organizations that, have been affected by this, like Spirit Airlines or Wingstop. Amazon warehouse. So you can pivot.
Yeah. So that's a great question that I want to ask you. You kind of jumped into part of it, so that's great. So you had to go through that unfortunate spot when this first started to furlough everybody, and now you brought them all back. So let me ask you, people need to be nice to their employees, and you're seeing so many reports of these CEOs and founders of companies that they let people go, and they're just like, I don't really have too many words. My Marine Corps vocabulary always wants to use foul language, but I'll behave myself for TV. But they really treated their people like jerks, right? They're just the epitome of evil. We've seen some gigantic influencers who lean on Lambos and lay on airplane wings. They cut all of their employees and basically threaten, if you say anything bad about us, we're going to like sue you. So, I mean, why is it important for employers to be nice to their employees? I mean, other than a bad PR rep for sure, but what is the most important? I mean, what advice do you give to owners about, okay, you're bringing your people back. You do need to treat them with kid gloves. I mean, kind of both situations were uncontrollable. Sometimes you have to furlough people.
That's a good question, Eric. And I'd answer it like this: is we had to get people back from Amazon. I mean, this is Jeff Bezos who has a machine that runs. And, you know, my team here, Jasmine and Alma and Annie and the rest of them here, when I said, hey, come back, we're actually not a bib fastener right now. We're going to be 4 years mass snaps. They left and they came back immediately. I think one thing is people work with me, not for me. And they, you know, I don't micromanage. I let them do what they need to do. I think they have they're adults and I let them do what they need to get done. So I don't think you need to be a harsh owner or CEO or whatnot. I think you work with people. People don't need to necessarily work for you. So I was encouraged the fact that when I said we're now 4 years and I pivoted in 48 hours and tilted this up, they were back with that week. And I think they like me.
I guess they do. You don't see any bad reports. You're not on Glassdoor being trashed, so that's a good thing, right? You always want to look good on Glassdoor. Right now, there's people like, what is this Glassdoor thing he's talking about? Trust me, Glassdoor will give you hours of entertainment. Anywhere you've ever interviewed, any place you ever thought you had a bad job, go to Glassdoor. They'll either say you're right or you're wrong.
I have to check that out.
You should. It's great. It's very entertaining. You're clear, but I know of other businesses that even I've worked for. I've gone back and I was like, you know, that guy was a real jerk to work for. Funny, I wasn't alone with people saying that. They're like, leadership was awful. You're like, oh yeah. Some companies even go and change it. Anyways, that's not what I want you to hear for. I want to talk about one other thing. And you talk about this 48-hour pivot. So this is perfect to lead into the last question for you for today. Sure. How did you go? Obviously, you used something that we're going to talk about later on the show to reinvent your product. You put it out on something that we stress all the time to use. And you went to social media. What was your approach to saying, we're going to go to social? Like, how fast in your 48-hour pivot was it like, we need to attack social? That's where we need to share what we're doing.
Oh, it's immediate. You know, we like to think of ourselves here as social media experts, marketing experts. And we have an advisor on our team that I respect. We are fortunate to have him, a former doctor. His name is Ed Zuckerberg. And Ed is a former dentist. And when we were doing our bib fasteners, we were all over social media. Some of our videos were getting 2 to 5 million views. And then when this happened, on April 8th, we tilted it up and said, okay, we're gonna spend a simple $100 in social media and created some videos. And after we had, I don't know, maybe like 1,400 shares. So doctor sharing with nurse sharing with other frontliners. It encouraged us to do more. And it went from 100 test to the views to the clicks to the orders, and then it just compounded. And let's just say the orders are coming in, and we got to keep up.
Well, Brian, this is awesome. I've loved talking to you. Your story when it reached my desk was so inspiring. It's great to see business owners making a pivot and help. Talking about giving it to the frontline warriors. As a veteran myself, it's been great to see these other business owners out here going, you know what? We need to help. We need to solve a problem, because these folks are out there living in these masks, seeing the worst of the worst. So you've truly been a savior. I know I actually talked to a couple of my doctor friends who have heard of your product. They're on the West Coast. They work up in Northern California, and they heard about it. I know a couple of them want to order online because they're like, dude, you have no idea. And my buddy was a wrestler, and he's a doctor now, but he's like, he says the ear problem is—
I might know him. Who is he?
Don Noel?
Sounds familiar.
I'm Dr. Noel. I feel bad. I called him by his first name. He earned his degree. So Dr. Noel. But yeah, so it's been great having you on. So tell folks quick before you go how to find out about you. We've been showing all the things, but tell folks how to reach out to you. We have a lot of first responders that watch our show. So I'm sure if they're like, dude, we need to get a hold of some of these, tell them how to go do that.
Thank you for your service, Eric. You can find us at BibBoards.com, and it says face mask, snap and hooks, and it's on the top in the bar. We have a buy one, donate one where we take those and we donate to the frontliners each week. So you can find us at BibBoards.com. And if your friend wants one, Dr. Noel, let me know, pass me his info. I'll get some out to him. We customize some for him.
Okay. I don't know if you can hear me. Apparently I'm stuck, but I guess you can still hear me. So
I can hear you.
This is fascinating. I'm stuck. At least I'm pointing. I can see myself, and it's interesting. But we'll do that. So thanks for coming on, Brian. We appreciate you, and we'll see you very soon. Have yourself a great remainder of your week.